What's up, everybody? Welcome to Hip Hop and Fashion. We running it. We live. We were pre-live. You know what I'm saying? Hope you enjoyed your weekend. Hope you did what you need to do. And if you watching, well, you blessed, because some people ain't here to watch. But I got my brother from another mother. I can't even call him a guest. Author, poet, philanthropist, motivational speaker. You changed all too?
I know. I fix cars, do houses, sit there and plant gardens, landscaping. I do all that stuff.
Cats out of trees. Seven Johnson. What's up,
man.
brother?
Oh, man. Look, bro, that's just that next time. You know, like, every time well, not every time. It's just the second time we're coming. But then when you think about it, like, every time it's like, man, I always say, man, we always say we're going to get to this point. But, it's just always a standard when you're about to get to a certain situation where it's really that time, because you have a lot of stuff you need to talk about. So I'm glad you gave me a chance to get back on there again.
And I'm glad you came, because, like, you making moves, and like I don't take it for granted somebody of your stature. Okay. Like, it wasn't like this was scheduled a month or something.
No, I know. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Like, man, I really appreciate that. And this is my friend. And see, I don't use that word lightly, because a friend is somebody call you, hey, how you making out?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Just saying, look, I got this event, need you to come, you know. So I'm just humbled to even just be sitting next to you and have you grace our dirty gray blue carpet, whatever color this carpet is, I don't know. Whatever color it is.
But look, this is the funny part. When I looked at the old interview, I noticed, like, that was my just starting out, but had to do the magazine thing. I was like rocking. So look what I was gonna say. I said, man, when I get there, I'm gonna ask him, could we sit down in some chairs? So I come here, the chair set up already. I'm like, he already knew.
Yeah, well, we good on the chairs now, so we can sit down now. I paid the chair bill this month.
So we good with that, man.
But I won't speak too much on it, but well, since you came up, things have just taken off. Then in the midst of that, you got married. Congratulations. Bro, I went to your wedding, and I don't know if I told you, but like, I was coming on the strength of you. And you know, I was like, I gotta go to a wedding. Man, I got to really enjoy myself, like, for real. I'm a man, and I enjoy the wedding. You know what I'm saying? Like, for real. And if you could speak on that, how was that moment for you? And I know you said you didn't write that speech. He freestyled the most beautiful.
Yeah, my vows.
Yeah.
Know what it is? I think, like, for me, it was surreal because we didn't have a wedding planner. So because so much stuff was done by me, it seemed like another business day. Because the wedding, we had to be there for 7, but like at 4:30, 5 o'clock, I'm headed way out there to Hammond and go pick up the love table. So it's like, if you think about it, like, man, how the groom doing all this running? So it's like, I was so hands-on that when I finally saw Stacy come, it's like, it broke me down to like, wow, we are really at this moment. You know, it's really happening. And the most beautiful thing about the wedding, it wasn't just about the marriage, because you already have a bond before you do that. That's just your thing for God and just for paper-wise, you know. But it was us thanking so many people that got us there. So when you have the right people that's at your wedding, you don't have the fussing, you don't have the arguing. And I saw so many people after that was on social media that became friends. So I'm like, that's how you know you picked the right people to be at your wedding. You know, so it was a blessing, man. I enjoyed it, man. I really did.
I enjoyed it. It was the wedding, and apart from the wedding, just, you know, in a circle thing where we saw two people who we deeply cared about that weren't necessarily speaking.
Yeah.
And that wedding just kind of
brought people together. That was
it wasn't a funeral, it was a wedding that
day. Look, but it was a funeral because you gave debt to a lot of people that didn't want you getting there.
Right.
That was their funeral.
Right. And for people in the viewing audience, they might not, they say, what do you do? You know, you're known by your words, but people probably can't put a face with no more than they can put a face with the owner of Coca-Cola, CEO of Coca-Cola. So.
Yeah. And that's the good thing, because what I realized prior to getting into a relationship with Stacy, you know, way with the dating thing, if people ever notice, I hardly ever put a picture of myself up. Like I would do if me and my daughter's doing something and I went to an event, but it never was those day-to-day pictures that I kind of sort of do now. But what it was because I knew that if you're gonna get to somebody, I didn't want to brand this me. I wanted to make a brand of the words. So it was like, I always had that thing where I said, I'm gonna get a t-shirt that says, you may not know my name or my face, but you'll know my quotes.
Right.
And a lot of times I've done events and people will say, oh, who are you? Like, what you doing? When I say Seven Johnson, they like, oh, I knew I read your stuff. Like I just did an event with LeJeune, and the girl was like, I'm not even on social media and I know about you.
Wow.
You know, so that's the good thing about it, is because what I've been blessed with, because I always say, like, I'm not that smart, I'm not that intelligent, I've never been through a lot of the things I talk about. So that's when you know it's a gift. When you know it's something God gave you. So because I know it's that, the humility is I shouldn't have to be on pictures. I shouldn't have to show people who I am to try to make it, because I'm not gonna speak on a lot of people that do that with relationships. It's like they more want you to be attracted to who they are as a man than to get the words from them. You know, so for me it's like, if I'm showing you through words that, hey, you could just change some aspect of your life and all thing you know is Seven Johnson, that's good enough for me. You know, that's my motivation, to know that you may have something on your refrigerator or something at your desk that's my words, but you just don't know I done walked in the building and I could go do the stuff that I do. So it's good for me.
Right. And for the viewing audience that's watching too, you know, people sometimes see the glory. Like they see the Prada shoes and boy, you clean as a $100 million bill, but they don't know the story.
Yeah.
And if you were not telling initially, first of all, how's your daughter doing?
Man, she's doing good, man. And what's crazy about that is it's the reality of what life is. You have so many people that think because you're in a situation and because you are that way with your daughter, because you are on a board that helps out young teenagers, you have this thing with your daughters. And it's sad that because of a relationship, I don't have a relationship a lot with my daughters now. And it's like nowadays you have women that are quick to call a man a deadbeat, and if you don't know what the really inner workings on why the situation is the way it is, you can't really sit there and justify why a father isn't as much in the kid's life as he should be. And so like we're saying that, it's like once I really got into a relationship and it became serious, it's like that was taken away from me more. So it's like it's like that go and tug and pull, like I have to try to make a sneaky way to try to talk to him and get him phones and do all this stuff, but she's doing good. Like my thing is this, man, before I even started, when people saw me doing shows and saw me being in expensive hotels, that was the time when I wasn't charging people. So I didn't have the money. It was sponsors that was doing those things, and the people that were bringing me out were doing those things. So the issue was that when I couldn't do much for them, God was sustaining me with them.
Right,
so I don't worry too much about it because he's gonna take care of it, but she's doing good. And to your question, how I really got into this and what really I got to starting this, it was because of my daughter, Ashton. She had hypoplastic left heart syndrome, which it's like when you're at birth, your heart, the left side of your heart is severely undeveloped. So, you know, at that time, we were always at Ochsner Hospital, and being at Ochsner, you know, you can't have phones or anything up there. So without having the phones up there, I was just getting on social media to kind of keep those little 12 people that were my friends on Facebook.
you just had 12
people. I just had 12 friends.
Wait,
and
for
all of
real?
them was from high school. Yeah. When I got on in 2010, it was 2009, I got on Facebook, because that was when you were able to be public. Because remember, at one time, if you didn't have like a school ID or something like that,
right,
EDU, you couldn't get on Facebook. Yeah. So around the time I got on, it was just letting people get on Facebook. So I had like 13 friends, and all of them was my classmates. And so it was people I graduated with, kind of like, you know, all of us like were, you know, alumni of Corn. And so when I got to Facebook, I just would get on there to tell them what was going on. And so finally, coming through all the stuff and losing a relationship and seeing my daughter go through this, I started, okay, what's on your mind? So it started to be that I'm really talking to myself to try to encourage myself. And in the process of me writing that to encourage myself, I started to realize, people let me understand I'm going through the same thing you're going through. Like, I had this, my faith was shaking and I'm going through that. Like, I'm dealing with that. And then it started to just take off that. And the good thing about it was, because it wasn't done for money, because it wasn't done, I never saw this. I never saw 5 magazine covers, speaking at the inauguration. I never saw any of that. All I saw was, I need to just vent. I need to talk to God. I have this doubt. I have this faith. It's like I'm negotiating with God and I'm understanding, like, I had to go through that with my daughter because he had to place me here. If not for her, I wouldn't have never gotten on social media. You know, so that's what brought me to this point. It was through her with her open heart surgery. So she's doing good now.
Which I knew, because I remember when we initially met at Crystal's event, you told me the story and had tears in my eyes. And I purposely wanted you to say that for somebody that's watching. Sometimes people thinking I had this conversation with somebody and it's just too hard, it must not be for me. Well, if it's hard, it's probably for you. It's probably for you.
Yeah.
Man, but you don't understand. No, I understand. I understand, you know, I've never shared this on to you. There were times when I was on this show helping a friend of mine. She fed the homeless. I was helping her with a nonprofit. Volunteer running here, there, helping her with a nonprofit, helping feed the homeless, and I was homeless. Coming into the show. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I understand, you know what I'm saying?
And know what, bro? And it's just, when people see you at a certain point, and most people that see your success only see the material things. They define you by the house, the car, the clothes you wear, and they think you're being blessed. When I was out there selling drugs and had that, and that wasn't a blessing.
Right.
You know, that was me stopping my blessings. But I thought that was God. That's God. I'm blessed. When people say, "Boy, you blessed," I'm sucking that up, not understanding I'm succeeding because of the prayers of my mom and them that knew I was out there. So finally, when you get to a success, it's never about the stuff you could buy, it's about the people you can change. And for me, that was the successful part. Like, once I started to see that there are people I can talk to and I can help them, and then, man, God knows the people that talked to me and told me, and this is a true fact, it's about 3 people that told me I was about to commit suicide and read something that you wrote, and it stopped me. And when I saw that, it stopped me from, like, you know, sometimes you can punch out. If you work at a job, you can punch out. But for me, it's like, what if I don't answer somebody in my inbox and they're about to go through that? What if I don't respond to that person and they really need me to talk to them? So it's like, it's nights I don't get sleep because I don't want any of those people to figure I don't want to wake up the next day.
Wow.
You know, so it's just that blessing, you know, and it's not a curse, because it's a blessing and a blessing, because when you're blessed enough to be able to help somebody, that's a good tiding.
That's a good
tiding right there, man.
Yeah, and basically, like for those who may have bad understanding, you support yourself and your family with that mouthpiece.
Yeah.
The gift that you was given.
Yeah.
Wow, and it was harnessed in probably one of the worst ordeals in your life.
Situations, yeah.
Y'all heard that? Y'all heard that? So I mean, you know.
Yeah, man, and it's good when you come from under something like that and you realize that never was for my daughter, that was for me. You know, like, my daughter had to go through that for me. That's why when people sit there and tell me about, you know, why you don't go do this, or why you don't go work for this person and work, I understood one thing about God. If I was doing something wrong, he wouldn't have sustained me all those years, because I would have had some type of struggle. You know, and my struggle always was this, though. I always, when I got to a certain point, I kept saying, all right, I'm stagnant now. Why I'm not doing this? Why I'm not doing that? Why this bank account isn't what it's supposed to be? Not looking at the fact that, but you didn't punch in the clock for all these years. You didn't punch into a clock, and you came to my house. Now imagine where I came from, where when I started Facebook, I was staying in a 1-bedroom with my best friend, because we lost everything. Like, we lost everything helping and getting to where my daughter could have the best of care.
Right.
So it's like, we fell all the way down. So the good thing about not having anything is, all right, let's say pride. They always say pride is the worst thing. You're not supposed to be a proud person. But what's crazy is, your pride will save you to listen to God. I'm gonna give it to you like this. Because I was
Before you go, this how it starts, y'all. Look, Pay attention now. This free. Go ahead.
Because I was so proud and because I had an ego, I was too embarrassed to go out and do stuff because I didn't have new clothes. I didn't have a car anymore. So that pride kept me inside writing. Because if I didn't have pride and I didn't care, I'd have still been going out there trying to mess with this woman, and this woman and run game. But my pride was like, man, you ain't current. You don't have no good clothes. You're not current. You need to do what you need to do. So it brought me closer to God and closer to people. So that pride saved me, But inside that pride, I had to find humility. So that pride, that proudness, brought me to a place of being humble because then I understood at any time you can become the people you look down on, because